You won't actually get to that realization until you get everything to a zero. But once you get back at that realization, what you can do is go back and test the whole thing. Okay, you're in the kitchen, your father grabs that Reese's cup. Okay, how do you feel? I feel like he's grabbing a Reese's cup, and he probably shouldn't have done it, because you shouldn't really do that to a 6-year-old, but you know. Okay, what else? Let's see. And I was so embarrassed. No, I'm not angry anymore. No, I'm not. Don't feel sorry for it. It's just too bad it happened, but I don't really feel sorry for the little girl anymore. She's, it's bad, but okay, that's pretty much a zero. Okay, so what you do is you're testing and making sure that all those feelings are gone. So how does that help you not be fat now, for not feeling fat? Well, something like being heavy or smoking can have a lot of different things attached to it. So what you do is you go, okay, and your subconscious will jump up and help you with this. You go, what other times are very important to me? And sometimes you can tap while you're doing this. What other things are very important to me that make me feel fat? Reasons why I feel fat. What kinds of things? And you go back and you think, when's the first time? Oh, you know what? There was that time that I was weighed in the gymnasium with all the other gymnasts, and I weighed 5 more pounds than everybody. And I remember that time, and that makes me want to cry. There's another event. Focus on that feeling. What part of crying? What exactly is the feeling that I felt? So I go back to that time, and I go, okay, what was that feeling when where was I? I was in the gym, and all the girls are getting on the scale, and I got on, and oh, you know what I remember? I remember that one of the girls snickered at me, and that's what I remember the most. How did that make me feel? Oh, here I am going embarrassed again. And remember to measure. That embarrassed feeling is a 10 right now. Even though that time in the gym when we all got weighed and that girl looked at me, I felt embarrassed. And I deeply and completely love myself anyway. And sometimes you have to say, even if I'm not ready to deeply and completely love myself right now, as long as you get that positive statement in. So even though I was in the gym and that girl snickered at me because we were weighing ourselves and I was 5 pounds over, I deeply and completely love myself anyway, maybe sometime in the future. She looked at me and I felt embarrassed. This embarrassed feeling. She looked at me and I felt embarrassed. This embarrassed feeling. This embarrassed feeling. Okay? And again, I need to check. So always remember to measure it, because there's 2 reasons for that. First of all, sometimes the emotion goes away so much that you think, I was never a 10. Well, listen, you were about to cry. You think you were a 10? So be sure to measure each and every time. And so you continue this just like we did with the other ones. You go on each emotion that you feel until everything's down to a 0. And we go around that whole event, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes it's like just that look the girl gave me, or it was the look on the numbers on the scale, or it was the way your stomach felt when that happened, or when somebody said something. Whatever's important to you, that's what you tap on. So let's just review really, really quickly. You focus on an emotion or a pain or any kind of event, and you figure out how you feel. You measure it. Is it a 10? Am I crazy about it? Want to run away? Or is it a 0? So you measure it. And then what you do is you do the karate chop point with the problem, emotion, whatever it is, and the acceptance statement. Even though I have this emotion, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Okay, and you do that 3 times, and then you just do this emotion. I'm embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. And you do all the way around. Take a breath, then measure it again. How far is it? If it's not below a 4, look, this, even though I have this remaining, or even though I'm still embarrassed, I deeply love and appreciate myself, still embarrassed, still embarrassed, still embarrassed, the rest of this embarrassment, 7 times, tapping 7 times and saying the problem. And when you get that down to a 0, now we go around the other aspects of whatever you feel about the event. The key is to keep going through that event until you're a 0 at everything. And it's something that just happened, and not something that's making your stomach tense or making you start to cry or something that you can't face. And the key to everything is if you start getting extremely emotional, because sometimes this opens up some doors and in the emotions. As long as you keep tapping, you don't even have to say any words. You can sit there and cry. You can sit there and be mad. Don't run away, because you have to keep tapping until the emotions regulate, and that's what's important. And also don't forget, you can use other points that you want, any points that you've learned. There's all kinds of points that people teach you. You know, whatever it is in your method of tapping method, that's fine. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I hope this helps you so much. Keep tapping.